but just amazing. Like, especially I think now realizing like what we were able to do for the inner city. I think that's a big part, and that's a part that I appreciate the most. Especially now that you see a lot of inner city kids are going to suburban schools, going to private schools. Like, the landscape looks a lot different than when we were in school. So for us to be right here in our community and just like having your community ride for you was huge. So like my biggest memories usually formulate around us playing South all the time because they had Taylor
Hill,
and you know, just a great rivalry, but they were really good too. And so I just think we were able to do things for, you know, St. Paul and Minneapolis that were just, it was a time. You know, I always say it was a time. And even like, I think between girls and boys will tell you like how many memories they have of going to those games. Like, we had the Inner City All-Star game and we had to stop before we could start the game because they had to kick people out because we were at fire code capacity. And I remember like looking at the window and there were people like watching from the outside in the window, like, you know, just to think like for a girls game. But those were my favorite games, I think, because they were fun and I like to be competitive. I think of our conference games, like we won those pretty easily. So I like that challenge of and someone that wasn't afraid to play us, you know. So I love those games. Probably my biggest memories and takeaways from that time for sure.
I know you was playing against her, but I want to, you know, big yourself up because I know it was a lot of Taylor Hill talk for you guys in senior year. But at the end of the day, you went the air, and y'all held it down and was able to. After losing to them,
I said we lost to them a couple times that year.
That year y'all lost.
Yeah.
Because of course the first year we went undefeated.
Yeah.
And then that year you lose a few games. So then talk about that, like that challenge of like knowing you're going against somebody else that's a great player.
Yeah.
That's beating you this year. That maybe seeming like they have your number. You just having to lock in and be like, you know what? I'm a senior. I am Kiara Buford. You know, that is Taylor Hill, but I am Kiara Buford. Like, we're going to make sure this gets done. Talk about that game.
Yeah. Senior year, like, you don't got nothing to lose at that point when you're a senior. Losing the other two hurt, but again, like, they were good, and they did have our number at first, and I knew that game wasn't going to be easy. But I think that's that competitive nature. So I think when it came down to it, and I just want to acknowledge like the pieces. We have some really key players really step up in that game. Kiara played well. I know Biddy played really well that game. And I really give props to Sienna because Sienna she had the job of face guarding Taylor and just play defense the whole game. She didn't have to worry about anything else. So like without those little things, like that's what really helped push us over the edge that game. And I think losing to them a couple times that year helped us too. So
it's gonna motivate you for sure.
I mean, but that was my last high school game. So that the mentality is just different, you know, like you don't have nothing to lose. You're gonna put it all on the floor. And in my mind, like win or go home, and we about to win. So, you know, I'm like, I love Taylor. We've always had a good friendship. I actually played with her a little bit in AAU and played for her dad. And I always think that was a moment, too, that helped me grow as a player because I was the first time I'm like, oh, I never had a coach like this before. So we've always been close, but I appreciate that rivalry and just I think it helped make me a better player. And then even going on to play against her in college when she was at Ohio State, like, you know.
It's funny